Wangler at the 45. He goes back. He's looking for a receiver. He throws downfield to Carter. Look at those Wolverines. 95 Wolverines going in the end zone. Carter got the pass in the air. It's done. Cooper is going out of his mind. I have never seen anything like this in all my 40 years of covering Michigan football. Anthony Carter, the human torpedo, got the pass. Bo Schembechler is looking up and he's looking up at Fielding H. Houston football Valhalla. And Bo Schembechler says, thank you, Fielding Yost. Thank you, Fielding Yost, for that one. Look at the crowd. You cannot believe it. Michigan throws a 45-yard touchdown pass. Johnny Wrangler to Anthony Carter will be heard until another 100 years of Michigan football is played. Right here it all happened. You're listening to it. I hope you can hear me because I've never been so happy in all my cotton ticket 59 years. All I've seen, I have broadcast 347 ball games. I've never had one like this. The play again. They put the ball on the 45-yard line. Then Wrangler went back to his own 45-yard line. Carter went streaking down there, went in and caught it at the 15. A man hit him at the 10-yard line, dove into the end zone. Michigan wins 27-21. They aren't even going to try the extra point. Who cares? Who gives a damn? Let's pause for the men who have brought you this tremendous homecoming game of 1979 over this.
And welcome to another edition of Wolverine Chat. I'm your host, Tim Raymond. How did you like that intro? Oh my gosh. That's why I'm a Michigan fan. I listened to that broadcast back in I believe it was 1976. And oh my gosh, that's all I got to say. Bob Ufer did the announcing, and that was to Anthony Carter, and I listened to it with my dad. And if my dad was here and still alive, he'd be as so excited about the last 2 years and where Michigan's at, and we're going to win this natty. Dad, you're going to be celebrating. I just know it. So anyway, sorry if I get emotional, but I just thought I had to play that. So in today's show, we're going to talk about the captains being named. They were named a couple days ago. And there's a new number one on the Michigan offense, and we'll talk about that. Meanwhile, I ask you to like, subscribe, comment, anything. If you like or subscribe to our podcast, you'll be automatically in the drawing for the Jim Harbaugh autographed jersey. You don't need to do anything. We'll just automatically pick, and we'll send you free of charge. We'll pay for the shipping and handling, and you'll have a pretty cool memorabilia jersey with Jim Harbaugh's signature. So last year we had 5 captains. Unfortunately, 2 of them got hurt, didn't remain. Both transferred to Iowa. Eric All, to his credit, stayed mostly on the sideline. He was there. He did his role, if you ask me, as captain, even while he was hurt. I don't mean to dog Caden McNamara. He is one of the reasons Michigan football is where it's at right now. What he did after he came in 2020 against Rutgers, down 23, and just brought him back, won the game. And I knew at that time that this kid was something special. And he went at, changed the culture, changed everything, beat Ohio State. So thank you. But when he got hurt, I think he just, got bitter. I think he realized that JJ was the new guy. And I think he was a little bitter. That's just my opinion. But he didn't stay around. He had surgery, but he could have come back. He could have been on the sideline, even on crutches, supported his team. He was the captain. He was one of the captains that his teammates picked. And I just thought he should be there. So from that standpoint, I was a little disappointed, but I'll never hate Caden McNamara. He will always be a Wolverine in my heart. Okay, so back to the captain's pick. The 2 returning captains are Blake Corum and Mikey Standerstill. Blake the fact that he's a captain blows my mind. Not that he doesn't deserve it. The fact that he's back this year. I thought he might be back. Honestly, I thought after he got hurt, but I still thought he might go. And even Jim Harbaugh told him to go. So that reason alone is why he's a captain. He could have been in the pros right now, but he unfinished business, as he said. He wanted to come back, and I think he had a pretty good chance at the Heisman. Mikey Sanders still a little quieter, although he talks. It's not like he doesn't talk, but he's just not the shouter, yell, in your face kind of guy. Him and another gentleman named Michael Barrett, last year against Ohio State during the game, looked over at the bench, I believe it was late in the third quarter, maybe early in the fourth, and he noticed, Ohio State was not out of the game, and their heads were down because they were getting defeated. They were being manhandled, and they knew it. And they looked at Michael Barrett and Mikey Sanders to look at their peers and their other players and said, this is the time. Look at the bench. This is when we put them away. We put them away now. We destroy them. We take them down. And that's what they did, if you remember, and pretty much handled the fourth quarter. So those guys, and Michael Barrett is the third. Actually, he'd be the third. The third captain so far that I named. Him, Mikey Sanderstill, and Blake Corum. And Mikey, if you remember, was a receiver, and he was a good receiver. He had some great catches, especially in 2021 rather, against Maryland. One-handed up, reverse his body. So he's a great receiver. And when they asked him to go to, they had some problems in the defensive backfield and secondary. They asked him to go back, and he's like, yes, sir. Anything I can do to help this team. And he is becoming one of the Michigan's best players back there. So congrats to Mikey. You deserve it. You're a great player, and we appreciate all you do. Blake, Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle, another guy who's just out there working so hard. He's got a great work ethic. He just is always positive, encourages his teammates. So I think he deserves it. And then the last two, I think, is great. I think it's not just because of what they personally have done, but what they represent. Zach Zinter, Trevor Keegan, both offensive guards, both part of the two year in a row winning Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. These guys are just beasts. They just love getting down there. They're the kind of guys that roll their sleeve up at 18 degrees, bare arms. They just love that. And they go out and they represent their whole offensive line. What an offensive line we've got. The depth is just amazing. So, that's going to be a great offensive line. These two guys so deserve it. So that gives us 6. Now, a lot of people like, well, is there somebody missing? Maybe JJ? Well, they asked JJ about that, and his answer was, I didn't qualify. What that means is this year, to be a captain, they decided you had to be a senior or, a fifth-year senior or a sixth-year senior, no underclassmen. So him and Donovan Edwards could not be captains, so there's nothing they could do. Sometimes, I believe in 2018, it was anybody. But this year, it was just seniors and above. But I'll tell you what, does that mean they can't be leaders? Absolutely not. There is no way JJ's not going to be a leader on this team. He's been a leader since he got here. If you remember, after the loss to TCU and Georgia, they both went out to him, Andrell Anthony, and Donovan Edwards, all the freshmen, that class went out there, took a look, and they're like, okay, guys, remember this. And they're so determined this year to go beyond the playoffs, to make it to the Natty and win it. So I think he will be a leader, even though he's not a captain. And same with Donovan Edwards. I mean, the way he played. Last year he played, of course, we remember the big cast he had, but he had a tear. I don't know if it was his meniscus or something, but he had a tear all season, and he played. Maybe that's why he got caught in the TC. I don't know when it happened. I don't know if it was all season, but maybe that's why he got caught against TC when he had that breakaway. And I believe if he had broken away for a touchdown, it would have been a different game. In fact, I know it would have been a different game. So congratulations to the 6 people named captains. Well-deserved, and it means a lot at Michigan. So go out there and do your job, and I know you will. Okay, changing subjects a little bit. Anthony Carter, Greg McMurtry, Derek Alexander, Tyrone Butterfield, David Terrell. I believe I said all 6 of them. AC Carter, Greg McMurtry, Derek Alexander, Tyrone Butterfield, David Terrell, and Andrell Anthony. 6, yes. All of those 6. Do you guys know what they had in common? Every one of them? Well, 2 things. They're all receivers, and they all wore number 1. Really, after Anthony Carter, number 1 didn't really become a thing till a little bit later, but now it's definitely a thing. And we would have had Nico Collins was going to be the next number 1, but that was in 2019 going into 2020. And because of the COVID, he opted out. So that never became a thing. So this year, we have a new number 1. He goes from number 14 to number 1. That's right, people, Roman Wilson. And I think that's great. What does that tell you? Does it tell you he's a good guy, he deserves it, and it's a cool number? And no, what it tells you, all those things are true, but what it tells you is Michigan is going to be a passing team. Maybe not all passing. They're never going to not run. When you have Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, believe me, they're going to run. But those 2 guys can pass. Blake Corum has really learned to catch. He was always a good catcher. This year, I think he's going to be a great catcher. I think they may put Blake Corum or put Donovan Edwards maybe up on the line as a 4th receiver or 5th receiver. I wouldn't be shocked if these guys become actual receivers and runners. So this is exciting this year. But it tells you that when you have a number 1, that this guy is going to be our go-to guy. He's going to be our number 1 receiver, and he's going to be our deep threat. Now, that doesn't mean, don't take anything away from Cornelius Johnson. He could be 1A and 1B, and Cornelius was our leading receiver last year, and I believe is going to be up there again this year. He's going to be a great receiver. And then we've got guys like Darius Clemens. This is his sophomore year, going from his freshman to his sophomore, and that guy is so talented. People, he's a stereotype 6'4", 220-pound receiver, fast hands. He's that 50-50 guy. So we've got him, Tyler Morris. We've got a number of receivers, but the problem is, other than Cornelius and Roman Wilson, we don't know. Bell was our go-to receiver, and we knew about him. We know those 2 are good, but now they have to step up. And like I said, I think with Roman Wilson going to number 1, I think they are going to step up, and they're going to have their, hate to say their breakout year, but this may be their best years ever. And maybe it's not because they didn't do anything, but Michigan just was not a passing team. And again, I think it may go to 55-45 rather than 60-40 passing, rushing to passing, and maybe even 53-47. I don't know the exact percentages, but I'm going to tell you, they're going to pass a lot more, and they're going to go. They started to last year with Andrell Anthony. They went down deep, and that's one of the reasons he's not here, because he dropped a couple of balls against Illinois, and he sadly had a tough season. I think he could come back and have a great season, and he would have if he stayed at Michigan. But we have a lot of guys, and I think he saw the writing on the wall, and I wish him all the luck at Oklahoma. He could be a dominant player for them, and I wish him all the luck. He's a great kid. So I think it's exciting. I am just so excited for this year. Next week, Nate and I are going to the game. We'll be doing our post-game. After the game, we'll do our show. It'll probably be on the next day. We may try to get it on Saturday night late. So look for that. Guys, please like and subscribe again for the jersey and for the show. It means a lot to me. You guys all mean a lot to me. Shout out to Anthony Goodrich. He's always been a listener. He won tickets to the Penn State game. He's just supporting the show so much, and I really appreciate it, Anthony. You take care, and maybe we'll catch up and see each other at some game. Take care, guys. Go Blue. Thank you, Bob Ufer, for that great intro, and go Blue.